Hello, and welcome back to our channel, Screenplay Recaps. Today I will recap the comedy and romantic movie called Prime, released in 2005. So let's dive into it. We begin with Rafie, a lovely young lady who is seeing a psychiatrist because her husband unexpectedly divorced her after 9 years of marriage. She is too anxious. Rafie informs Lisa, her therapist, that she has been a faithful and obedient wife for 9 years, and her husband has rewarded her with a divorce. Lisa predicted that it would take some time, and time is a tremendous healer. Lisa continues by saying you should forget the past and concentrate on the future. You have a wonderful life ahead of you, so concentrate solely on yourself. Later, a young man named David received a message from a buddy saying that his girlfriend had broken up with him and that he needed his assistance.
But why am I being involved?
They go to the girl's house, and his friend instructs him to wait in the car and keep the engine running. When she walks out of the home, he surprises her by tossing the cake in her face rather than apologizing. She yells to summon her buddies. All her buddies rush out to pursue him, but they manage to flee from the site. That evening, David and his buddy go to the cinema to watch a movie. David encounters his pal Randall at the ticket booth, and he introduces him to Rafie and Catherine. He strikes Rafie as a brilliant and extraordinary person. David, on the other hand, is also drawn to Rafie. They walk down the hall to see the movie. David then goes to use the toilet and finds Rafie sitting outside since the hall door is locked inside. They get a chance to learn a little bit more about one another in that circumstance.
Nice to meet you.
Really great.
Nice to meet you too.
David then returned home. However, he is still thinking about Rafie and has a strong crush on her, so he can't control himself. He phones her but lacks the confidence to speak with her. As a result, he hangs up on her. Anyway, David contacted her again and spoke to her this time. Finally, David asks her out to dinner, and his magnetic charms work. As a result, Rafie accepts since she is lonely and wants to move on from the past too. The next evening, David pays a visit to Rafie's home and treats her to a delicious meal. Rafie is extremely attractive. David cracks several jokes throughout dinner to make her laugh. They go to the market after supper to get some goods. At that point, Rafie tells him she is 37 years old and asks his age. David replies that he is 23. After that, they have a drink and talk in the garden. Rafie said she hadn't enjoyed herself this much in a long time. She is delighted to meet him. David starts kissing her in response. Rafie went to see her therapist, Lisa, the next day. Rafie claims to be dating a lovely young lad. She kissed him while on the date.
What am I doing? I only got divorced last week.
In contrast, Lisa is overjoyed for Rafie since he is making an effort to let the past go. Lisa continues by saying that the age gap is irrelevant. There is no reason for her to feel guilty about going with the flow and living her life. Rafie is delighted. Following that, David then visits his mother's house to greet her. Oh, my goodness. What a turning event, his mother is Rafie's therapist. David tells his mother about his relationship with a stunning woman who is 4 years older than him. The female is older than his lovely kid, which offends Lisa. She demands that he end this relationship. Furthermore, David maintains to his mother that meeting her could change her attitude towards her. No way, David. If Lisa meets Rafie, she will have a heart attack since she knows everything about her. Lisa, on the other hand, stated that she did not wish to meet her. Following that, David goes to see Rafie at her home. She allowed him in, and they had supper. While cleaning the dishes, David grabbed her from behind and kissed her. The scenario then becomes heated, and the rest of us know how these things end. The next day, David meets with his buddy to confess his love for Rafie. He tells David that they may both get injured because she is too old and he is too young. David responds, "You remind me of my mom." David meets her once again later on in the evening. They become close and eventually sleep together. Rafie had a terrific time with him. Lisa is completely unaware that she is dating her son. Rafie further says that David is 23 and an artist, but his parents do not value his talent. Lisa becomes concerned since the boy's age and family history is similar to hers. After further investigation, Lisa came to the conclusion that an elderly divorcee has been dating her cherished son. Lisa had a severe shock. As a result, she abruptly ended the session, stating that, "Let's call it a day," and promising to meet another day again.
Are you okay?
Yes.
As soon as Rafie departs, Lisa collapses onto the couch and exhales deeply to relax. Lisa then goes to see the therapist right away. Oh boy. Rafie, what you've done. Your therapist has been sent to therapy by you. What a cruel irony. Lisa's therapist advised that David is young and immature, therefore, she believes this relationship will not last long. The therapist further says Lisa must continue and focus on Rafie's therapy. After a while, David gave Rafie a tour of his painting gallery. Rafie is pleased by David's creativity. They enjoyed a wonderful time together. Rafie has become addicted to David's magnetism charms and finds it impossible to fathom life without him. As a result, she pays David a visit the next day when he is playing basketball. They then go directly to Rafie's place to make love. After a while, Rafie visited Lisa to share her romantic adventure with David. Rafie was overwhelmingly excited. She even mentioned her favorite position, how David is fabulous in bed, and they have made love in every corner of her apartment. At the same time, Lisa is getting quite uncomfortable.
I got it.
Rafie's sequence of love journeys does not end, though. Lisa is making a concerted effort to suppress her feelings since she doesn't want to divulge her identity to Rafie.
He hasn't had much experience. He's only been with 2 other women.
David visits Rafie's workplace later in the day to let her know he has lost his job and needs a place to stay for at least a week. Rafie views this as a chance to get to know David better and learn more about him. She instantly extends an invitation for him to reside with her. The next day, David visits her mother to let her know he will be spending some time at a friend's house. Lisa urges him to move in with her, but David declines. Lisa instructs him to exit through the other door since her customer is on his way. She doesn't want any commotion. Oh boy. Rafie is the customer, without a doubt. Lisa unlocks the door as she is going to knock so David won't notice her and invites her in immediately. David leaves simultaneously, but Lisa manages to keep her secret. David is going to live with Rafie, she says during the session.
What?
Lisa was astonished since David had lied to her twice before. Rafie continues by saying that this is advantageous, since it will empower her to decide sooner rather than later whether he is the perfect man for her. How much longer are you going to shock Lisa? Rafie, please elaborate. Lisa maintained her composure and agreed with Rafie. What more could she possibly do? After some time, the adorable couple travels to the Hamptons for a relaxing weekend.
I've been grooming you for this moment.
They go directly to the room after meeting friends and have a private moment.
You look 10 years younger. I've never seen you this happy.
They had a terrific time and then returned home. Rafie resumes her normal activities, but David spends the entire day at home watching television. Even though her house is more disorganized than ever, she became increasingly furious with him. On the other side, David is also growing disinterested in her and is no longer passionately affectionate with her.
Are you coming to bed?
Yeah, right after this game.
The next day Rafie went to see Lisa for counseling. David, according to Rafie, is an immature and untrustworthy partner who prefers to sleep and watch TV rather than work. Rafie further says David is a slacker, and she has no future with a man who depends on women's income. Lisa became irate and stated she couldn't continue.
He's my son.
Rafie gets a huge shock from hearing this because Lisa deceived her. Rafie unknowingly disclosed every single detail of her intimacy to her. Rafie questioned Lisa about how long she had been aware of it. Lisa reacted for nearly a month and kept the therapy going for her sake.
No. I think you did it to control your son's life.
However, Rafie doesn't believe any words of Lisa and leaves. After that, Rafie returns home to inform David how his mother broke her trust, and she even knows all about our private lives. David gets angry and calls Lisa. He yells at her why she didn't tell her at the right time instead of continuing the therapy. Lisa says you are in love with an elderly divorced woman, and she isn't the perfect match for you. David replies he loves her very much and is old enough to handle his affairs. The following day David invites his pal to Rafie's place to chat. While they are having a good time, Rafie suddenly arrives home early. Rafie sternly warns David not to bring a visitor to her apartment, so he feels afraid and immediately hides his friend in the closet. She shouts violently at David after discovering his friend lurks in the closet. Rafie continues, "Look at the mess you caused around here, despite the fact that you don't assist her in cleaning the stuff." David ends his relationship with her because Rafie humiliates him in front of his buddy.
Can't do this anymore. You should get a dog if you want to give orders.
Lisa went to counseling because she was under a lot of stress. Lisa said Rafie accused Lisa of tricking her. David raged at her because Lisa injured his lover in the name of therapy. According to the therapist, everything will get better, but you must have some patience. After a while, David understood that his decision was a grievous mistake. He meets Rafie at dinner to make things right. Rafie claims we need to take a break since she can no longer trust him and does not wish to continue this toxic relationship. She ends their relationship as a result and departs. The following morning, David met the art curator and sold the painting for $2,000. David wanted to share this joyous occasion with her, so he called. However, she did not answer the phone. Later that evening, David attends a party with a friend. He runs into Rafie's coworker there. His friend told him to socialize because you are single. As a result, David dances and drinks with her. When he wakes up in the morning after a long lovey-dovey night, he finds he has slept with her. That was a huge blunder. A few days later, David runs into Rafie in the supermarket. Because they were ravenous for the other, therefore they got intimate. David has begun concentrating on his career, which makes Rafie pleased. David invites Rafie to dinner that night and introduces her to his family.
I know this was very difficult for you.
David is utterly in love with Rafie, therefore, as a mother, Lisa has no option but to embrace Rafie. Our lovebirds are overjoyed and have spent a beautiful evening together. However, everything is getting back on track, but the worst is yet to come. The following morning when Rafie gets back to work.
This is Dave you're talking about?
Rafie is startled to learn that David had a romantic evening with her colleague. Rafie straight head to David's home to confront him. David was speechless since he was aware that his mistake was beyond redemption. Rafie sees no distinction between her unfaithful ex-husband and David. She eventually left him.
It's not that you went out. It's who you went out with.
David asks his mom for support since he needs it to get over his depression. Lisa says that sometimes you love, learn, and move on. This relationship helped you to become a responsible man. It would be best if you focused on your career. David, though, is unwilling to let her go from his life. Therefore, he heads straight to her place to apologize to her. Nonetheless, Rafie understands that David is immature and she can't have babies and see no future with him. Despite accepting his apology, she refused to let him into her life. 1 year later, David goes to a restaurant for supper but discovers Rafie is having a good time with her friends. David still feels very strongly for her. He didn't trouble her, instead choosing to observe her from the outside. Rafie turns around and smiles at him. So that was Prime. If you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, share, and turn on the notification so you won't miss the next recap. Until then, cheers.